The next presenter is Dr. Ryokichi Hirono, who graduated in 1958 from the University of Chicago in economics. He worked as a research assistant at the Institute of Industrial Relations at the university, and also as a professor at Seikai University in Tokyo. He is currently Professor Emeritus at Seikai University and visiting professor at GRIPS. He also taught at universities in Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, and worked at senior management posts in both the UN and other international organizations. He has also served in Japan in advisory councils, boards of trustees and directors, and a number of research institutes, foundations, and civil society. Over to you, Dr. Hirono.
All right, thank you very much, Regina, and also thank you so much for invitation by our friends from US International in Costa Rica, as well as Kartike. To me, this is the second time to be in Ahmedabad. The first time I was here was in 1961 when I was teaching at the University of Gujarat, economics. So it's wonderful to be back here after 49 years, and there are a lot of progress, and I'm sure there are a lot of also maybe little regression also in some respects in terms of the environment, but anyway. Now today I have I think about 10 minutes, right? Okay, good. I'll be very short. Now I have here a brochure. This is a brochure on the, let's say, says our blue planet will survive till tomorrow. This is a musical performance which I have been fortunate enough to produce and present it in New York City with the help of Stephen Rockefeller. He was on the stage itself. And also in Washington, D.C., where Gregson was also on the stage. And of course, in European countries, Paris, Düsseldorf, and Geneva, and so forth, as well as Singapore and Seoul in Korea, and all over Japan. So this is the musical, which is based upon the Earth Charter itself. So we are using the musical as an instrument to spread the message of Earth Charter. And as we heard yesterday on the beautiful music piano by Dr. Manuel, it was wonderful to hear this kind of thing. And I think the musical and music, they all appeal to the people's hearts. And I think we heard this morning somebody talking about 3H. What is 3H? Hand. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi who said about a hand, head, and one heart. And I always put one more H. And one more H is horizon. And horizon means vision. So you need a vision, and you need skill, you need intelligence, and you need also heart. These four H's are very important. Of course, my students always jokingly add one more H. That's Hirono. But anyway, so to me, it's wonderful to have all these 5H or 4H together, and that's the only way we can really deliver the message of the Earth Charter, which is wonderful. I think that you have been already hearing about the key message of the Earth Charter, and so I'm sure that everybody agrees and supports it. But the only problem is how do we realize it in our own domain, in terms of textbooks, in terms of also the other kinds of publicity material that we may spread also in our own respective country. Now let me go to my own country experience. Now here's an interesting message. Man has lost the capacity to foresee and to forestall. He will end by destroying the earth. This was by Albert Schweitzer, 1875. Sorry, this is not 1060, it's 1965, sorry. But anyway, this is the message. But then we have also the message. The two great challenges of the 21st century are the battle against poverty and management of climate change. on both. We must act strongly now and expect to continue that action over the coming decades. Our response to climate change and poverty reduction will define our generation. If we fail on either one of them, we will fail on the other, which is done statement by Nicholas Stern of the World Bank in the World Development Report 2010. Now, as far as the ESG is concerned, certainly it is a very important the message that we want to bring into the rest of the world, to the entire world. Now, when the little organization which I headed, which is called the Forum for Johannesburg Summit, when we presented this kind of proposal, and then I took it to my Prime Minister, Mr. Koizumi at that time, to his office, and he said, "Ryo, it's a wonderful proposal. Let's make it a Japanese government proposal." I said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. This is a proposal by Japanese NGO and government of Japan together, and not by government of Japan alone. So from the beginning, I wanted to see this particular ESD to be really a combined effort of the NGOs and other stakeholders as well as the government. Government should not have a monopoly on this, and this is a very important starting point for the ESD. Now, as far as ESG is concerned, as you know, in the beginning we have had a lot of discussion on environment education. But in every country, it seems, particularly in developed countries, we always start ESD with environment education, EE. But then gradually we understood to broaden it, to cover other education, such as peace education, human rights education, the development studies, development education, and many other education, which are very important integral part of the ESD. ESD cannot be a separate entity. It has to be an integral part, and it is a way of thinking, and this is something which we wanted to emphasize. And therefore, in our primary school, our secondary school, our universities, and so forth, we are always considering, the point that this is an integral way of critical thinking and not additional subject. It is not additional subject. It has to permeate it through the entire, a program of whether it's a discipline such as engineering, physics, and so forth, but also it's mathematics, social sciences, literature, and so forth. So therefore, this is the way of thinking. This must be the instrument for change agent, and this is something which we would like to emphasize. Now, here is the one aspect which I want to emphasize, particularly at this meeting, because we Japanese are too timid in expressing all these things, okay? So I'm a Japanese, but a bit different from other Japanese. Education for social market economy, rather than liberal market economy, which will promote cooperation among different stakeholders to reduce adverse impact of economic globalization, which has intensified competition to the brink of community destruction and even family breakdown. I think this social market economy concept is very important if we're going to promote further and further in terms of ESD. Second, education for changing people's values, attitudes, and priorities in favor of balanced, inclusive, sustainable, and innovative global growth, rather than hegemonic, inequitable, environmentally destructive, and BAU, business as usual growth. So this is a very important approach that we should take. Now the time is limited, so let me just say a few things which are already well known, therefore I will cut off this point. And the point I want to emphasize is this. I live in a city called Musashino City. Musashino City is a municipality within Tokyo, and it has a population of 135,542 people at the moment, according to the 3 days ago, the population census. And per capita income of my city is the highest in Japan. It's $55,000 per capita. But what is really important in my city is that we are practicing ESD. We are not preaching ESD. We are implementing ESD, which has been very much emphasized in this meeting yesterday, today, that we need action and not just talk. There's a word called NATO. NATO is not a North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO means no action, talk only. Okay. Okay. So what we want is participatory long-term development planning since 1961, active people participation in decision-making process in every aspect that affects the daily lives of people in the city, priority to local, low energy intensive economic development based on the use of local people, local materials, and local products and services, and priority to education, health, and sanitation, priority to equal balance of income distribution and poverty reduction, a priority to human rights, including care for the senior citizens. By the way, my city is also one of the cities in Japan which has the largest proportion of old people as percentage of total population, now already 27%. And gender and disadvantaged people, priority to protection of nature and environmental sustainable neighborhood, priority to preservation of traditional values and culture, and priority to international cooperation for a peaceful and sustainable world, Center for Global Citizenship established in 1989. So you can see that we have been practicing ESD for a long time. And what is really important in the practice of ESD, everybody in the city must participate. Not just some academia, not some government official, not just business sector. Everybody has to participate. And I'm very happy to say to you or to inform you that even small business in my city, although they change quite often, their hands because they're under severe competition, but still, even small business, they look at this Earth Charter. They look at the spirit of Earth Charter and spirituality of Earth Charter, and they consider it's a wonderful, a valuable document which you could support. And in fact, not only support the document spirit there, but spread it to the rest of the other cities in Japan. So we feel that what is really important is action and not just talk only. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hirono.